Hi there, my name is Emile Murdock. This is the first episode of Eatin' with Emile. And today we have a very special guest, my very one and only father, who I am the seed from. Today we are making a classic dish from the Murdock household, the pizza. If you want to give a brief introduction of yourself, please go right ahead. I've got some questions to introduce yourself as well. Please.
Just Lou Murdock from Cincinnati, Ohio. Wife Judy over on the keyboards. She plays some music, does a little dancing, does some vocals. This is my son Emile. He does some vocals and a little bit of dancing. Two others are missing, Nick and Luke. And yeah, we do make a lot of pizza in this house. So it's taken a long time, but we're not bad at it anymore, but there's still stuff to learn.
Indeed.
We don't measure much in this house. We do a lot of eyeball sort of stuff. So this is
a quick introduction of Lou Murdock.
Firework.
He was an All-American swimmer in high school, and he swam for college at Xavier University. He's an orthopedic hand surgeon. He's a father of three, a devout Catholic. He has 20 years of service to the community as a doctor and a healthcare provider. Okay, back to the subject at hand. It smells wonderful. I'm wondering, what was maybe a struggle of youth for yourself?
Oh, I was a fat and chubby little kid.
Well, doesn't that
Who got
equal a lot in society
mediocre?
these days? This man loves food. If you can't tell, he's now consuming the sauce. He's taste testing it. A lot of people like to use a spoon and consume it, but he is more of the use the utensil out of the spoon itself.
That's
it's very similar.
It's not going back in, so we can let that rip.
You want me to put it this way?
Sure. Roll it up.
I do anything for my father. All right. So struggle of youth was size, as you were alluding to.
I was also very young for the grade that I was in, so.
You mentioned that you were shy to me at one point in your life. Very bashful, one might say.
Extremely.
Okay.
Yep, chubby.
Where did that come
Slow.
from? Where did that come from? Where did the bashfulness come from?
I just think that I had an outgoing brother, lived in the shadows. I was probably an underperforming student, lived in that, if you don't know what you're talking about, you keep your mouth shut. And yeah, so I was also kind of small for my age.
Okay. How'd you land on medicine? Let me hold this cutting board for you.
All right, thanks.
You were a young kid. Medicine is a long, arduous journey. What made you land on medicine?
I'm not even sure about that, to be honest with you. I was a history major. And
chemistry minor, is that right?
Yep, studied chemistry, took a lot of German, and
do you know any German to this day?
a little bit.
Give me a couple words, please.
Achtung.
What does that mean?
Stop.
Okay, wonderful. There we go. Let's give that a view for the camera. We see it has a brain-like consistency and texture. We're gonna let it hydrate now, is that right?
Yeah, we're gonna let it sit for about 4 or 5 minutes.
Why did you pursue hand surgery?
Wow, jeez.
Hard question, I know.
Well, it is.
It's much your career, so.
Well, it's an interesting field inside of orthopedics, for sure. I mean, men have them, women have them, children have hands, athletes have hands, executives, bums. I mean, everybody has hands, and there's disease from cradle to grave, and it is very interesting work. I mean, everybody needs them to function, can be independent, take care of yourself as long as you have decent hands. And at the time, I enjoyed the people I was working with. They were good role models, and thought it was a direction that would be awfully satisfying.
Okay. So, but feet, one could argue, are arguably as useful as hands. So why not feet instead?
I don't think they're as useful, to tell you the truth.
Right.
I think they're awfully good to have, and I want mine to stay good. But you need your hands for independence, and you're also working with the full spectrum of anatomy. I mean, skin, muscle, nerves, arteries, all the tissues. And you express yourself through your hands quite a bit. Reading, writing, artistic endeavors, more so than with feet.
Okay. What was something surprising that you learned about medicine? What was the most surprising thing you learned about medicine after you got into the
hospitals and physicians don't work together very well.
And enlighten us as to that position. What do you mean by that? And
we're not on the same page. We take care of patients. They're business entities.
So would you argue that your incentives are different?
Yeah, they're incentivized entirely differently than physicians.
How can you tell us more about that experience? Maybe like What led you to reaching that conclusion?
Well, physicians rely on hospitals to provide certain elements when you're a surgeon to provide elements that facilitate your ability to offer the services that you provide, and you support them by bringing patients to their care. But the relationship's broken because it is to some extent, again, they pick winners and losers and make decisions about how and who they want to invest in. And so a family practice person, for example, has very little kind of influence or leverage with the hospital because they don't provide the kind of services that a hospital's most interested in. And neurosurgeons have extreme influence, and others do as well. But I think it was very unexpected. I was super disappointed about that.
Okay, so knowing that now, if you were to create your own medical practice, how would you address that going forward?
I don't think I would align myself with the hospital.
And what does that mean exactly? What does that entail?
Well, I think we're kind of perhaps way off track.
Sure.
Of cooking pizza, but as it would turn out, the more independent you can be of a hospital by providing your own facilities to offer care and treatment in, the better off you're going to be, and the better off your patient's going to be. This is, it really does. If you can reduce the amount of interface that the patients are required to have with multiple entities while providing their care, it simplifies things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we get back to the pizza?
Oh, let's do this.
Indeed. All right. Quick side note, we are grilling these pizzas on the grill instead of in an oven. It's a little unexpected, but it's going to result in a wonderful char on the bottom side and flavor on the top side. Let's give this a stir. Now you can't see what's going on right now, but it looks like absolutely nothing has happened to this sauce. Bubbles here and there, but overall, giving it a light stir, we'll give it a taste. Wonderful.
I won't use the word partner.
Okay. Well, so finding a wife has been a great joy in life. A lot of people these days are single. I think the average age for people being single is 35 or 30.
Is that right?
It's very old now. So how do you advise that people find maybe a wife or a husband in this time where age is ever increasing for finding a partner?
Get off the internet and go meet people.
How old are you when you married your wife?
30, what? 33.
His wife was 28? 29 when they married. There's a little bit of hope out there for you older folks. No worries on that side. But so you may have been a little bit older. You spread out the dough in case you couldn't tell what was happening. I don't think I need to explain that. Use your knuckles, let it stretch itself. Let's continue with the question.
But a surprise joy is interesting. So along the way, just, it's a lot like, walking.
We hear about another secret joy of life that you found.
Well,
Dad, I find you to be such a happy guy, and I feel like it seems so mystical to me. You've lived a life of service. Maybe that's one of the secrets. Maybe it's your deep Catholic faith. But I want to know, can we pin it down to certain things that have really just contributed to your joy over the years?
I think that for reasons that I cannot explain, articulate with some sort of certainty as to why I laugh easy. I'm a pretty serious guy, as you know. You've been on the receiving end of a lot of serious conversations.
Many years.
But life brings just minute by minute joys. I don't think you have to hit home runs to have good joy. And so if you lower your expectations about what it takes to please you, you'll find joy in almost everything you do.
Now I'm going to make one guess before he begins the next step of this process. I'm guessing that his secret joy comes from having a popped collar on his jean jacket, wearing a blue shirt that matches with a hole in it right in this area. And then if you'll step back and lift up his leg, you'll see that he's also wearing blue jeans. He has what we call a Canadian tuxedo And I think that's actually one of his secrets. He won't admit to it. He's never disclosed this part of his life to me. I'm quite confident that is actually the secret to joy in life. What's a bit of wisdom you like to share with maybe people your age, but maybe also the next generation of young adults that are coming into this world that are the inheritors of this new world that you're leaving behind at some point, and it's going to be left to me, my kids, my grandkids after I die as well.
Kill the internet. You expected that, didn't you?
Well, this is quite ironic considering this is going to be all over the internet in less than 3 days.
Well, what I mean by that is don't get programmed by the internet. I think that is a tool that needs to be improved upon so that we don't get consumed by it, but rather interact with it with an eye towards how it can help you, rather than simply going down funny holes and involving yourself in the lives and activities of folks that mean nothing to you and won't ever mean something to you.
Sauce is ready to be loaded onto the pizza.
Sauce is the boss. Do you like a lot or a little?
You know what? I like a medium amount of sauce. It seems like a silly answer considering you gave me a lot and a little, but too much sauce is frankly unsatisfying. It drowns you.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and I'm depending on the pizza that I'm having, if it's deep dish, I can deal with a lot of sauce. But
sauce on the side's okay.
Sauce. So you're pretty conservative with the cheese application. Can you enlighten me as to how you came to this conclusion? A lot of people heavy-handed with the cheese. Yeah. Why are you so light on the cheese?
Because I think you talk about things that distract you when you eat, like a hot piece of cheese that slaps you across the face.
Well said.
I hate that.
I actually have a second question. I believe this pizza, if I'm not mistaken, avoided the garlic salt perimeter. Was that by intention or not?
Is it a little bit of an oversight that
Who would have thought that?
I'm correcting? I like the first, like if you come off the crust, I like that first bite to be a little bit savory. To be honest.
Okay. All right.
Bring it along.
We're going to bring the camera along.
Yeah. I'm going to slide at least one of these in. Okay?
All right. You're coming with us. We're going mobile. All right. So now we've got one pizza. Let's flip the camera around.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Whoa. All right, Mom. Sounds good. Let's get a close up.
My brother John.
Look at this piece of art. Now, you don't see this often coming out. Your regular restaurant. You got perfect brown edges. The cheese is brown. The pepperonis are brown. You want to bring that inside? We're going to leave it out for a second.
Leave it out here.
All right, we're going to let the other one cook. That one away. This pizza on. Time to go in. Pizza goes back into the oven. Beautiful. Pizza is looking delectable. Coming back. Look at this. Just absolute beauty. Father's struggling a little bit to get out of the oven. I'm a little concerned. But he pulls through as usual. It comes out. Oh,
put it back in. I think it's got a minute in there.
Back in.
Sorry about that.
The oven had a little performance anxiety. Sure, it's nothing unusual. Pizza's coming out. He may leave. Now, this is curious. You've chosen. Ooh. Now that just looks absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for tuning in to this first episode of Eating with Emile. Dad, do you have any remaining comments for the crowd? Anyone with any lingering questions? Anything you want to share with the world now?
Yeah, be optimistic. Be optimistic. That doesn't mean false optimism, but be optimistic about what you can do, whether it's cooking or cleaning, or what you can do with your clothes. Dial down this anxiety everybody's talking about in this day and age. You have to be on top of your game. You don't have to be on top of somebody else's game. Just be on top of your game. Take responsibility for what you do and learn from every mistake. Those are the treasures that you need to sift and find. Make something of every mistake you make. Learn from it and keep going forward. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, you guys. We'll see you on the next episode of Eating with Emile.